First referee, Mr. Joven Roselis. Second referee, Mr. Fernando Velarde. Now let us meet the starters for the Petro Gazz Angels. Let's start with our team captain, number 9, Remy Palma. Wearing jersey number 2, Janelle Chang. And number 8, Aiza Maiso Pontillas. Jersey number 10, Brooke Van Sickle. And number 11, Marian Buitre. Jersey number 20, Jonas Sabete. Starting libero, number 22, Pilar Barbon. Head coach is Mr. Koji Chuzu Rabara. And now presenting the starting lineup for Galeries Tower Highrisers. Let's start with jersey number 9, Audrey Paran. Wearing jersey number 13, France Ronquillo. At 14, Andrea Marzan. Jersey number 16, Noriel Ipa. At 17, Fenel Emnas. Number 23, Romajoy Doromal. Starting libero is number 10, Liza Eroa. Head coach is Miss Lerma Giroa. This is match number 57 between Petro Gazz Angels and Galeries Tower Highrisers.
Check out the starters for the Petro Gazz Angels: Buitre, Palma, Pontillas, Cheng. We also have Van Sickle, of course, Barbon as our libero, and Jonas Sabete, whom we talked about at the top of this coverage. Meanwhile, for the Galeries Tower Highrisers, we take a look at their starters: Ronquillo, Marzan, Doromal, Paran, Ipak, and Emnas. And their libero, of course, is Liza Eroa. We'd like to welcome you all to our coverage on One Sports Plus and on Pilipinas Live. Dip Dipianco alongside Bella Tunay covering this first match of this triple header. And then we also have Kyla Kingsu at the sidelines who will deliver us the updates and reports throughout the match. 3-game schedule for this Saturday here in Santa Rosa, and all games, of course, may bearing moving forward to the semifinals, Bella.
Actually, lahat nga ngayon, nakalabas na yung mga notes, calculator, dahil sa tindi ng labanan dito sa ating race to the Final Fours. We see the first rally ongoing.
Already, Marzan getting the first point for Galeries Tower to welcome us here in set number 1.
Andrea Marzan, one of the more experienced players, and also has been one of the consistent starters for Coach Lerma dahil throughout the conference, sinashuffle niya talaga yung mga starters niya.
Now, we've seen Coach Lerma, of course, experiment, which is why si Mabilangan nga was able to get some time also in that last game. Meanwhile, Petro Gazz will get their first point as we go to Kyla Kingsu for her report. Kyla?
Thanks so much, Dip and Mela. Now, as we highlighted in the pre-game, Petro Gazz's veteran setter and previous POG Janelle Cheng continues to showcase her expertise in guiding her teams towards crucial victories, orchestrating flawless offense and really leveraging their attacking prowess to secure their spot in the semifinals. So based on my conversation with her earlier, I can say that she does indeed have a very keen focus on the high stakes of the competition. As Janelle tells me that every point, every set, and every win is highly valuable for more breathing room in the standings. Sabi nga niya, as older players, may hugot kami. We know from experience that no team is to be taken lightly, and we train just as hard and even harder for the next squad that we face. And well, with this type of attitude and leadership, Janelle and her fellow vets are upholding for their members. The team's high aspirations for the conference are definitely looking alive. Now, this report is brought to you by the Pilipinas Live app, where you can watch exciting PVL action anytime and anywhere in the world. Now, back to you, Dip and Melo.
Thank you, Kyla, for that report. Well, for Petro Gazz, they want to bank on yung pagiging veteran nila, no? And of course, a lot at stake for them, more for them, kasi kailangan nila makapasok sa semis. Although, not to take anything away from Galeries naman, because they want to also get an upset in this matchup.
Well, different goals for these two teams, but at the same time, makikita rin natin, sabi natin ito si Coach Lerma, nagsashuffle mga starters niya. For Coach Koji naman, I guess, fielding in other players like Buitre starting for him today, Morente as libero, dahil come the next round, mas matindi na talaga yung magiging labanan. He's gonna need all his weapons, and right on cue, nagde-deliver yung kanyang mga pinasok dito. Buitre and si Sabete on that collaboration to block Ronquillo.
And a timeout called by Galeries early on.
Isang linggo natin pinagpapasan lahat ng bola saan dadalhin. Okay. Na-check yung mga spikers natin kasi open lang tayo. Ano ba yung tinrain natin? Kahit out of system, pwede tayo mag-play, di ba? Bakit taas-taas lang ang bola? Mag-take risk ka. Nag-take risk ka na nga dito eh. Ba't di ka mag-take risk ng combination dyan? Pasahan natin ang maayos. Doon si Roma sa dulo.
Timeout called by Coach Lerma Hiron as they're down by 4 points here in set number 1.
Walang instructions ni Coach Lerma doon to take risks, especially going up against a team like Petro Gazz. Veterano na yan. Hindi na uubra yung mga sobrang basic dyan. So, kanina naging effective na binibigyan ni Emnas yung gitna. But now, they just resort to giving to the wingers.
Ronquillo will have another crack at it, and it drops the second time around for Franz Ronquillo.
And finally, Franz Ronquillo getting a point right before she rotates for the serve, avoiding that Pontilias block.
They cut the lead down to 3 points as Ronquillo will serve 2-5. Cheng back sets to Pontilias and it drops for Aiza.
Kanina, hindi niya na-block yung Ronquillo attack na yon. So this time, babawi. Just look at that. Very simple approach, and I guess the connection built with Janelle Cheng has been developed through the seasons that they played together.
Multiple conferences. Also a championship under their belt. Back with the red shirts. They go to Palma, dug up by Eroa. To Paran. And Paran with a drop.
We see Remy Palma not going for the block, pero nandun siya sa pwesto. And Paran just seeing that donut hole, and ito si Remy Palma did not even bother to get that big. Talagang inintay niya si Janelle Cheng. So that time point is gonna go to Galeries Tower.
Marzan with the serve. Cheng goes to Sapete and Jonah will score.
Aerial ace it is, Jonah Sabete. So look at her go, the elevation talagang always impressive, plus the power. Kayang-kaya to break down those walls put up by the blockers.
Lead back up to 4. Emnas back sets to Doromal. Rejected by Sabete.
Kanina, hindi siya mablock. Ngayon naman, a single block against Doromal. Let's take a look at that again. Perfect timing and great reach for that block.
And this brings us to this technical timeout as Petro Gazz ahead by 5. Back inside the Santa Rosa City Sports Complex for the continuation of this matchup. First technical timeout through, and Doromal sends that out.
We saw her adjust mid-air for that set. So far, medyo may contrast, no? Yung nakikita nating magandang connection ng Petro Gazz with their playmakers and setter, the spikers. Yun naman ang kulang. Again, another adjustment by Doromal, but it won't work.
So it's now a 7-point lead for Petro Gazz here in set number 1.
MNAS ilalabas muna ni Coach Lerma. Our featured player, Rene Mabilangan, will now enter the court.
She had 20 excellent sets in that game against Farm Fresh. There's no whistle yet, so this will be another serve for Aiza Maiza Pontillas. A short one at that. Paran. Picked up by Van Sickle. Palma with an easy point.
Remy Palma, specialty of the house. Alam mo, she may not be the tallest middle blocker here in the league, but definitely capable of scoring a lot and in different ways. Isa yan sa mga forte niya talaga yung mabibilis na drop balls.
Another short serve. Doromal picked up by Van Sickle. Play continues. It's now with the Highrisers. Paran. Again, steady defense by Brooke. Sabete on the off-speed, and it drops.
Well, that's the struggle on the defense of Galeries Tower when they see Jonas Sabete really go up in mid-air. Full swing, and then last second going for the cut shot. Defense wasn't ready.
And lead has ballooned to 9 points for the Angels. Paran. Again, Van Sickle with the first ball. Sabete breaks the block. And players caught flat-footed for the Highrisers.
Miscommunication, and Galeries Tower gonna call for a timeout. Let's listen in.
Ba't tayo nandito? Ha? Anong ginagawa mo? Bilang libero, anong gagawin mo doon? Papanoorin nyo lang yung mga bola doon? Uy, gusto niyo ba yung ginagawa niyo? Gusto niyo manalo? Ilaban niyo bawat bola eh. Nangyayari, pinababayaan natin bawat bola. Overball, bakit ganun lang ang gagawin mo? Yun na ba yung yun na yung best option na pwede mong gawin?
Cover lang ha.
Arena Plus astig sa sports. The Galeries Tower Highrisers calling their final timeout. Coach Lerma really asking her ladies if they want to play, because with the scoreline right now, it seems like Petro Gazz is really cruising to a set 1 win. And that's a good response after that timeout. A while ago, before that, only Paran, Marzan, and Ronquillo have scored a point each. But they draw that net violation coming from Palma.
They really have to double down on their attacks kasi may opportunity sila na kapag set up sila, but it seems like parang spin lang yung mga palo. Contrary to how Petro Gazz, like the likes of itong sila Sabete, Maizo had been attacking. Talagang power kung power.
Si Eroa was also singled out in that timeout. A better job for her covering the floor for the Highrisers. Unfortunately, lumabas lang yung atake. So this is still a 10-point lead for Petro Gazz. As Nicole Tiamzon down the floor for the Angels, replacing Sabete. Paran. Morente with a dig. Save the bump. Shouts to the net. It's back with the Angels. Good pick up from Doromal. Paran will attack. Tiamzon with a dig. Van Sickle. Dug up by Ronquillo. Paran again. Rejected. Long rally ongoing. Cheng will transfer to Palma, who will end that long rally.
Kanina, power tip. And this time around, powering through with that running hit was Remy Palma. But probably one of the best rallies so far between these two teams. And I guess for Coach Lerma, okay yun na nakikita niyang lumalaban at gumagalaw ng maayos yung kanyang mga players.
Kaysa sa kanina na mabilisang napapatay ng Petro Gazz.
Tsaka may mga miscues eh. Sayang nadidepensa, nagtitingin na lang. But now you see everyone really moving and making an effort to defend.
Montilia saving that one. Almost a point from Cheng. France from the back row. Again to Palma. Same play, same result for Cheng and Palma.
Again, gearing up for the next round. Petro Gazz really trying to bring out everything they've got against Galeries Tower Highrisers as they now lead the second technical timeout.
Cash out. Visit www.signal.tv/switch for more details as we go back inside the Santa Rosa Sports Complex. It is a 12-point advantage for the Petro Gazz Angels. Not a typo here in set one as they have managed to build this big lead. And Coach Lerma will field in a couple of players to try and see what they can do for the Highrisers. Pinasok na si Isa Jimenez and Grace Bombita in hopes of cutting the lead down, but not yet, as that was short for Bombita. Nakakapasok lang.
Grace Bombita, in some games, she would really score a lot of points. She really have to heat up here para makasabay sa atake ng Petro Gazz. They really need someone they could rely on that department.
Good save by Morente. How many times has Palma done that attack this set?
That's, if I'm correct, third in a row. That's her third in a row. And then fourth yung kanyang power tip. So 4 points already for Palma, but very much active. Make that 5. A lot of involvement in this game today, really embodying that captainship.
Parang minamanilang ni Ren Palma yung set 1. Look at that.
Well, sabi nga natin, dito pa lang kailangan na nila ibigay yung all-out game nila dahil mapapalaban sila sa next round.
And another point for Petro Gazz. Galeries Tower unable to receive properly. And it's now a 16-point lead.
Definitely a dominating set for Petro Gazz, and Galeries still unable to solve the puzzle dahil ang daming nagpo-produce ng puntos dito sa Petro Gazz. But this time, they're gonna throw one away with that service error.
And a much-needed point for Galeries Tower. They only have 5 points so far here in set number 1 as Grace Bombita will serve. Over-received almost. Cheng was able to put it through. It's back with him. Palma again.
Remy Palma, parang in one rotation, she really managed to score off these points. 6 points already for her. And again, she won't be able to do that without a very steady setter like Janelle Cheng.
Yeah.
Nabagit natin kanina on top of the coverage, effortless. Nakita mo naman yung itsura niya pag magsiset. Parang may iaabot lang kay Remy. Pero You know, that takes a lot of years to develop, no, yung mga very steady sets and the connection with the spikers.
We see Arce entering the game. Ronquillo able to find the spot at the corner.
Ethan Arce, nakita ni Ronquillo, she maximized na wala yung libero nila on the floor, targeting Arce there on the sideline.
Julia Ipac will now serve for the Highrisers. 6-21. Cheng goes to Buitre. It's back with the Angels. She goes now to Van Sickle. And Brooke with a cross-court kill.
Brooke Van Sickle very silent as we see this spike of the set brought to you by Duncan, pasalubong ng bayan. And let's see if she gets to catch up with the points that Remy Palma had produced, or is this like a strategy? No, okay, let's focus on the medals today. Pahinga natin muna yung ating mga top scorers.
I was gonna say, hindi pa nga siya masyado nakakakuha ng atake dito. It's not like they need it also kasi the rest of the players are contributing for the Angels.
Kasi on normal days, makikita mo even sa back row, walang pahinga yan, sinesetan pa din. But now, she is very rested. Coach Koji allowing the other players to step up.
Pinasok na rin si Myla Pablo. Ivy Perez also as the setter. Myla picked up by Ronquillo. Bombita from the back. Morente was there. Buitre. Naibalik. Battle with Esguera. Mabilangan. Back to Ann. Buhay pa rin. Ronquillo. Good defense for both teams. Van Sickle on a tough angle. Nilipat ulit kay Bombita sa likod, but it sails out.
Ganda na naging approach ni Grace Bombita doon. But unfortunately, just a bit underneath the ball. So that's not the best contact and result for the Galeries Tower Highrisers. But we also saw a lot of good rallies so far in this first set. But a lot of them also ending on the side of Petro Gazz.
2 points away from taking the opening set. Block coming from Pablo and Buitre.
And the confidence of the Petro Gazz Angels are just on sky high right now.
And just like that, they are at set point. That was Pablo denying Franz Ronquillo. And it's Ivy Perez serving for the set. Mabilangan goes to Bombita again. They've been going to that play. Back with the Highrisers. Jimenez, that drops.
Great way for Mabilangan to also involve the back row attackers. Kanina, she set up Bombita. Right now, it's Jimenez finally getting a point for the Galeries Tower Highrisers.
They save a set point. Still a huge lead, though, for the Angels. Perez to Pablo. And that does it for set number 1. The Petro Gazz Angels take it in a convincing margin, 25-7.
How we miss Myla Pablo ending things off for any team she plays for. And that time using all smarts and just using the hands of the blockers to finally end things for Petro Gazz here.
allowed Petro Gazz to pull away easily in that first set.
Well, really, Petro Gazz Angels just moving correctly halos in every sequence. Parang nalimit talaga nila yung mga pagkakamali while at the same time producing a lot of points from different people. On the other side naman, itong Galeries Tower Highrisers can't seem to find an answer to all those explosive bombs given by the spikers of Petro Gazz. We saw a couple of players score paisa-isa, but not enough with the streak of points produced by the likes of Remy Palma, who's had 6 points in set number 1. Brooke Vansicle, 4 points. Sabete, 5 points. As we see the disparity in the attacking department, 13 compared to just 5 of the Galeries Tower Highrisers. And also yung blocking ng Petro Gazz. Of course, different players also collaborating to get this number. We saw a single block from Sabete, Maizo Puntillas, Remy Palma, Buitre, even Myla Pablo. And just look at the errors. Almost a flawless set number 1 for the Petro Gazz Angels. While Galeries, hirap na nga sila makapuntos, nagpamigay pa sila ng 5 libre to the Petro Gazz Angels. So clearly, they were easily dominated by the veteran team and PGA.
A close to perfect set number 1 for the Petro Gazz Angels, who know exactly what they need to get from this matchup. As we welcome you all to set number 2 here on One Sports Plus and on Pilipinas Live. Dip Dipianco with Mela Tunay covering this match with Kyla Kingsu as our courtside reporter. First point goes to the Highrisers, which also happened, by the way, at the start of this match. But Van Sickle with an emphatic kill.
Again, bomb after bomb being disposed here by the Angels. And you see them not taking this game lightly, like we mentioned earlier, both teams on opposing side of our standings. But definitely yung sabi natin, obserbahan natin kung magiging complacent ba si Petro Gazz going up against a bottom-ranked team. So far, no signs of that. If anything, they're really like at it today. And speaking of, ito na naman si Anes Guerra pupuntos. And so far, just like the beginning of set number 1, dyan sila nakakuha ng mga earlier points sila from the middles.
So win here for Petro Gazz as a violation called on the Highrisers. It doesn't guarantee them a semi-final slot, but it puts them at a good spot of entering yung next round.
It doesn't guarantee them, but at the same time, it trims down the chances of the other teams below them.
That's why it's important for us to watch the remainder of the games today. Yun ang importante. Especially that Cherry Tigo will face Akari right after this. And then our final game, Signal, despite being eliminated already, will face PLDT, who's also fighting for a spot in the semis.
Well, if you're Signal, you're gonna want to end the conference on a high note, especially your unknown, consistent semi-finalist. This might be the first time in a long time na hindi kayo aabot dyan, pero gusto mong tapusin yung liga ng maayos. So, PLDT, sobrang kailangan naman manalo. So, the games today really are exciting.
Petro Gazz ties this one up at 3 apiece in set number 2.
There goes the 2 minutes of Galeries Tower at the lead over Petro Gazz. Dahil kanina the whole duration of set number 1, talagang lamang na lamang itong Petro Gazz.
Saka binalik na ni Coach Koji yung starters niya. No? Panapos lang yung bench for set 1. With that big lead, and Ronquillo will get the point and the lead back for their squad as we listen to Kyla Kingsu for this report. Kyla?
Thanks so much for that, Dip and Mela. Now, over at the recent Galeries huddles, Coach Lerma's really urgently calling her ladies to really internalize that they've got only 2 games left to show everything that they've got. And this reminded me of my interesting conversation with her prior to the game, where she said that naabot na raw nila yung win quota nila for the conference, surpassing their 1 win last year. But joking aside, Coach Lerma says that she's very happy to see her squad slowly but surely being able to bring out their game. She said, and I quote, "We will get there. It is just maturity that I want to see and will continue to seek from them. And with that said, let's see if Galeries can show this aspect, persevere enough to improve their position and take this second set away. Now, this report is brought to you by the Pilipinas Live app, where you can watch the exciting PVL action anytime and anywhere in the world for only 149 pesos a month. Now, back to you, Devin Mello.
Thank you, Kyla, for that report. Again, we have to remember that Galeries Tower Highrisers is a young team in the league. This is only their second conference in the Premier Volleyball League. Made their debut in the second All-Filipino conference in 2023. But again, already with 3 wins this year, Mela, so already big improvement for their squad.
That's right. And lalo na ngayon, may mga bagong teams din. Actually, yun din yung tinitignan itong mga bagong teams, who's gonna win over the other. And with a very talented roster doon sa Farm Fresh Foxies, may mga na-recruit din sila ng mga veterans like sila Caitlin Viray, sila Elaine Casilag, and the rising star in Chini Arroyo. Natalo pa rin sila in straight sets sa itong Galeries Tower Highrisers. So these are also some of the highlights ng other side naman, because now all the focus definitely on the upper rank teams. Pero sa baba, meron din mga interesting things na nangyayari as we see EPAC scoring off a runner. And again, they are definitely playing better here in second set. And mas involved na rin yung kanilang mga middles in Esguera and EPAC.
Petro Gazz answers right back. Remember, in set number 1, Galeries Tower only scored 7 points, but they already have 6 in the second set. And talking about them, just a recap of the teams they've defeated this conference: Capital One, SGA, and Farm Fresh, yung pinakahuli nga in straight sets.
That win against Capital One, it reached 5 sets. Happened here also. I covered that game here in Santa Rosa. Pero nung una makikita mo, they're still struggling to find the system. But after getting win after win against newer squads as well, medyo na-build na nila yung confidence na yon. So now this is another challenge for them, how they would play consistently against veteran teams.
Yamzon picks up the attack. Pontillas dug up by Doromal. Paran again rejected. Solid blocking for the Angels to bring us to the first technical timeout. They're up by 2.
Marian Vitre in your screens earlier, who currently has 4 points, all coming off from blocks. So, di naman ang value ni Marian Vitre so far for Petro Gazz. We know she has a lot of attacking styles that she played different positions in the past as well. But I guess this is my personal observation against Casey Galdones, no, itong si Marian Buitre has the upper hand when it comes to blockings.
She got the starting job for today after coming off the bench in that win against Signal, which also, by the way, lasted 3 sets. Cheng to Pontillas. Eroa picks it up. Barbon was there. Van Sickle. And that's a point for Brooke.
And looking at Van Sickle right in front of me when she went for that approach, she even slowed down, ha. Makikita natin yan. We see another spike of the set brought to you by Duncan. Pasalubong ng Bayan. She adjusted to that set. Medyo higher yon than her usual. But amount of power, that last spike couldn't be contained by the Galeries Tower Highrisers.
Yamzon was checked. Oh, smart play. And a push for Janelle Cheng.
Again, effortless.
Yun yung title
Yun
nung...
talaga yung ano, ito na yung word. Tingnan mo naman, parang may ano lang siya. May parang pinahangin lang siya dun sa likod. Tansyadong-tansyado. And not a very easy thing to do. Dahil apart from measuring the court, dapat yung court sense mo din kung saan mo ilalagay at kailan mo gagawin.
Right.
And Janelle Cheng always knows when the perfect time is.
That's a rare error coming from Brooke Van Sickle, who is the #1 server in our tournament so far. Ang dami niyang nililid na categories, no?
Yeah,
Part of the top 10 in a lot of those.
Isa-isahin natin to our viewers who are currently eyeing sino ba yung mga possible MVP frontrunners natin. I think we have Brooke Van Sickle on top of that list as well. She's #2 in scoring, #3 in spiking, 3 in blocking, 1st in serving, #7 in digging, and #3 in receiving. So wala lang siya sa setting.
Oh, yun lang.
Parang kakaiba na yun pag nandun pa rin siya.
It just goes to show how well she's been playing this conference. But also, France Ronquillo has been stepping up for the Highrisers. Unfortunately, a service error for Bombita. Supposedly a chance for them to tie this set.
Ronquillo looking a bit more like herself here in the second set. Kasi the first set parang nangangapa pa, masyado silang stunned by the Angels. 4 points already for Ronquillo, and we also saw the attack points.
Dikit, no? Compared to set #1 na lagpasan na ng Galeries Tower. They only had 5 attacks in set #1. So lead is now up to 3 points for the Angels. Marian Buitre will serve 12-9. Good sharp serve. Close to the net. Doromal had a tough time placing that ball. But they will challenge. Coach Lerma will request a block touch from that play.
Remy Palma signaling there was no check, but we'll see. Dahil minsan hindi rin nararamdaman ng
Yamzon did not get a touch. So challenge is unsuccessful. So now the lead is up to 4 points. Buitre will be serving once again. Doromal bumps it. Turonquillo, and that goes through.
Kilio with her 5th point of the game. So, parang established na talaga na, okay, Ronquillo doing her job to stack up the points for Galeries. But she can't do it alone dahil here on the other side, ang ganda ng teamwork na pinapakita. Everyone, when they get the chance to be set up, talagang nakaka-convert into points.
Yeah.
Sa kabila naman, yun yung struggle. Who's the next man up next to Ronquillo?
Oh, look at that save. And it turns into a point for Galeries Highrisers. The attack coming from Tiamzon. And Ann Esguerra just gets a touch on it to send it back over and scores.
Ganda ng contact na ni Tiamzon. Actually, ang bilis ng palo na yon and the follow through, almost a sure point. But Ann Esguerra working double time on defense.
Pontillas, tagap by Mabilangan. Back with Petro Gazz. Pontillas again. Nagpasan lang si Doromal. A good effort for the Highrisers.
Maganda na yung galaw nitong Galeries Tower Highrisers. But they're a bit scrappy pa. Tingnan mo yung galaw nila. But sa kabilang side naman, very organized.
Mas maagang ipapasok ni Coach Koji si Myla Pablo and Ivy Perez. I think it was close to the 20-point mark a while ago in the first set. Yung pinasok sila to replace the starters. Perez will serve. 3-point game here in set 2. Here comes Tiamzon. Ipak. Oh, they've been getting the first ball off of the check. Unfortunately, hindi lang maangat ng maayos.
Yun nga, medyo scrappy pa eh. Kasi tama yung pwesto nila. Nakaka-touch naman. Pero the movements that follow, yun yung medyo hindi pa ma-establish na tong Highrisers.
And maybe it will take more time that they've only been together for 2 conferences. Kapaan din sino pa yung kukuha ng bola.
And within those 2 conferences, iba-iba rin yung players eh, di ba?
Yeah.
So they continue to develop their lineup while at the same time build the culture and the system. As we see a double substitution for Coach Lerma. Nash, titignan natin kung makakabawi. She looked a bit lost in
Yeah.
set number 1, which is very unusual for this veteran setter. But also we see Dimdim Pacres in the front row.
Kaya pinasok si Mabilangan no, to sort of refresh itong play ni Nas. But she gets a save. Eroa bumps it to Ronquillo. That's a nice play for Galeries Tower, and Coach Lerma will be pleased with that.
Quality minutes right away from Pede Nas. Ayan naman maaasahan mo talaga sa depensa. And look at Franz Ronquillo going for that hit. Talagang elevation is very impressive. Plus yung power, unti-unti na rin kumakarga.
No, Ronquillo was nowhere near the top 50 in terms of scoring, but because of the last game, umangat siya ng umangat. And is 49th in the league together with Grace Bombita. And si Doromal naman yung nangunguna for Galeries. But they're only down by 1 point with that error from Palma.
Clearly a much better showing by the Highrisers here in the second set.
Saved by Nas again. Pacres will get her first attempt. They pick it up. Almost a miscue. Nas gets a touch. It's sent over. Back with Petro Gazz. Pablo will score.
Myla Pablo getting off another point the way she ended that set number 1 using the hands of a single blocker. Let's take a look at that again. 1-on-1 with Franz Ronquillo, and now they go to the second technical timeout.
And Petro Gazz Angels are only up by a couple of points over Galeries Tower Highrisers here in set number 2. We've seen the improvement of play from the ladies in black. Tim Pacres seeing her entry in this set. France Ronquillo has been the go-to player right now for the Highrisers, but everyone else for the Angels contributing. As Tiamzon will serve. Pero will bump it to Ronquillo. Checked.
You saw on the face of Remy Palma. No need to wait for the referee's call. Alam niya na siya yung nakadikit doon sa net na yon. And just like that, the lead is just cut to 1.
Perez inangat kay Van Sickle, and that catches the line.
No touch on the blockers at all. Ang bilis niya pinalo yung atake na yon, plus very high contact as well. And what a set from Ivy Perez. Inagaw bago pa mag-over reception.
Ethan Arce will re-enter. She was also fielded in that latter part of set number 1 to serve.
This is the challenge, no? Kapag nasa likod si Ronquillo, kailangan meron din silang consistent scorer sa harap. Talking about the Highrisers, as we see. Tim Pacres just rising to the occasion. Medyo malapit siya dito sa atin. Baka narinig yung ating call for a consistent scorer. Just look at that. Very explosive attack
Sabi
from
niya, ako na yun.
Pacres.
I'll take it from here. And she cuts the lead down to just 1 point, 16 to 17. Perez goes back to Brooke. Emnas and Ronquillo just stood there.
No attempt at all. And to think medyo na-slow down na ng blockers yung palo. That's also a very confusing area dahil lagpas na sa setter. Usually sa sweeper na yon, but itong si Ronquillo did not move at all to cover up the defense.
Petro Gazz back up by 2. Binalik na ang starters. Cheng will be the one to serve. That's a good serve coming from Janelle Cheng. Ronquillo will send a free ball. Napailing na lang doon si Coach Lerma. Took some time for her to realize that's Brooke Van Sickle with a powerful hit.
Is there a way for us to replay how Fen Emnas waited for that ball? Nagtago na lang talaga sa ilalim. Dahil tama yung pwesto niya, but seeing na wala talaga sa tapat ng kamay ng blocker, itong si Brooke, alam niya na, babaon talaga yan.
If you're watching live, you can hear the impact of that hit. Pacres. Tiamzon gets a touch. Morente with a dive and the save. Carly Hernandez, by the way, is on the floor for the Highrisers. And finally, Galeries Tower will score.
We're seeing more combination plays on the side of the Highrisers. And it was a good save by Morente earlier on that Pacres hit, but this time unable to contain that quick hit from Anes Guerra. As we see the starters back for Coach Lerma, Bilangan and Romal. That was a quality substitution for Galeries. Ang ganda ng mga naging puntos nila with Pacres and Emnas on the helm.
They're able to stay within distance. Only down by 2 points. Mabilangan with that serve. Here comes Van Sickle. Eroa unable to control, and it's another point for Petro Gazz.
Just like that, 12 points already for Brooke Van Sickle. Kanina, I think she was at 4 points no after set number 1. Well, pag ganun ba naman kalalakas yung pinapalo mo, parang may ganun kasing impact yung mga key players minsan, lalo na the likes of Brooke Van Sickle. Yung lilipad pa lang, alam na ng kalaban na Mga 99% puntos siya.
Yeah, that's right.
So they become very stiff on defense.
Tiamzon tried to go for that, and it's inside for Nicole Tiamzon.
Nicole Tiamzon naman, kilala rin yan sa mga angles ng kanyang palo. And Eliza Eroa, very uncharacteristic of her to drift away from the direction of the ball because usually nahabol niya talaga. But Coach Lerma not happy, so we're gonna hear from this timeout.
Okay? Isiset mo sa labas. I-receive pataas. Dandanin mo lang. Okay? Huwag natin madaliin. Ginagawa natin sa training yan. Pag nasa kabila, ready tayo blockings, ready tayo depensa. Pag nasa atin, ready tayo opensa. Bakit parang naggugulo-gulo lahat? Kalma lang natin sarili natin. Kunin natin yung meeting natin. Okay? Let's go. Pasahan natin. Let's go, let's go.
Pretty sure Coach Lerma is pleased with how her players are showing out here in set 2. Pero nandiyan ka na eh. Might as well make the most out of it. They were only down by 2 points before Petro Gazz scored back-to-back.
Tsaka I guess here in this conference, medyo lumalakas na rin yung confidence ng mga bottom-ranked teams. Kasi may mga upsets na nangyayari eh, di ba? So that's an added inspiration for them.
Especially coming from that win nga against Farmfresh, di ba?
And Farmfresh actually defeated one of the upper-ranked teams in straight sets as well. So I think gone are the days na pagpupunta ka ng game, ay mas mataas sila sa ranking.
Yeah.
Talo kami. Ngayon talaga, they will try their best to challenge. And speaking of challenge, we have one right now.
And minsan nga, mas challenge. Minsan challenge ka pa na I'm facing a high-ranked team, di ba? Gusto mong talunin because gusto mo makigulo sa standings. Challenge unsuccessful para sa Highrisers. So no challenges left. And the lead is now up to 5. The right score is 22-17.
The #1 server of the league. Just doing it plain and simple. Right target, high efficiency. And Coach Lerma will spare her last time out.
Sige, akin na. Akin na yan, may short na ganun. Hindi, lumagpas eh. Akin yan. Sabihin nyo muna. Hindi, sabihin nyo lang kung kaya. Pag hindi para kami na lang. Papasa ako, papasa. Oo, papasa siya. Go. Pasa ha. Pag pasa ka, sabihin pasa. Ako pasada. Sakalin mo.
Tama naman yung ginagawa nyo, dagdagan nyo lang yung hassle. Tama naman eh na...
Sige lang. Sige, tulong. Tatagan pa natin, tara. PM!
On that timeout, Coach Lerma did not join the huddle. Let the players discuss amongst themselves. But their assistant coach, Wewe Medina, also saying na tama naman yung ginagawa. No? They're doing the right things. That they just have to add more of that hustle. Kasi napako sila eh. This is 4 straight points coming from that 19-17 scoreline.
So the challenge for the Highrisers is to make streak of points. Kasi kung sa bayan na palitan lang, kaya nilang sumabay dito sa Petro Gazz. But the difference is, itong Petro, kaya nilang gumawa ng streak of points.
Pero will bump it to Bombita. And she will score for the Highrisers. Much needed to end that run.
Dropping a bomb of her own was Grace Bombita.
The spike of the set is brought to you by Dunkin, pasalubong ng bayan. Espina now in the game for Petro Gazz. Error on the second try.
A bit cold from the bench. Of course, one of the very high potential players, a product of the De La Salle Lady Spikers. This time, Coach Koji will talk things off with his girls that's listening.
It's okay. Inside. It's okay. Inside. 2, 3. It's okay. I go one catch. I go. You have it set. I go. Let's go.
One good pass. Let's go. Petro Gazz Angels.
Timeout called by Coach Koji, just trying to end this momentum being built by Galeries Tower, scoring back-to-back points. Let's see if they will be able to get a good first ball, which is what they're asking for coming off that huddle. Cheng will set up Espina. Eroa with a steady hands. Here comes Doromal. Bombita with the coverage. Nilipat kay Hernandez and Carly. Attack picked up by Cheng. Eroa again for the save. Hernandez. Down it goes for Carly Hernandez.
So she's playing in her hometown. Might as well drop those explosive attacks, which we don't always see her do. Dahil in her previous teams, we see her as either a libero or a serve specialist. But just look at the power and potential that Carly Hernandez has as a spiker.
And then ang bunot, 3 straight points now for the Highrisers. Unfortunately, Bombita with a service error, and that puts Petro Gazz at set point.
They were about to overcome that challenge that we posted earlier. No, you creating streak of points. They came up with 3 in a row. But that error is going to be costly for Grace Bombita and the team.
4 set points now for the Angels. Buitre with a good serve. Here comes Doromal. Breaks down the block and saves a set point.
They are still alive in this set number 2. And we're going to see Ipak enter. Really going to need her blocking this time. Let's see if they find an advantage with the younger front row for Petro Gazz. Si Espina and Arce.
Kept alive. Mabilangan goes to Doromal. Barbon saves it. Cheng goes to Espina. Popped up by Esguerra. Here comes Hernandez again. And that is out. Point goes to Petro Gazz. And wala nang challenges itong Highrisers. So they can't do anything really. The players are waiting for it. But call stays and point goes to Petro Gazz. Yeah.
But mukhang tama yung tawag na yun. But right intention for Carly Hernandez dahil walang tao. If that ball went in, that was way at the back of Janelle Cheng. This is a better showing for the Galeries Tower Highrisers.
It was the Angels getting that over the Highrisers. Let's take a look at the highlights. A much better set for Galeries Tower in that one, Mela. But still, Petro Gazz Angels, despite shuffling the players, no, sila pa rin yung nakakuha ng set na yun.
After a dominant set number 1, itong Highrisers, they tripled their efforts and managed to stay close throughout that set number 2 against the Petro Gazz Angels. And we also saw Ronquillo finally stepping up, 6 points already for her, followed by Esguerra with 3 points. But again, we're gonna need more people to produce the points, because on the other side, we see Vansico with 13, Palma with 8, Buitre with 4, Sabete with 5, and we even missed Jonas Sabete in that set number 2. But also, itong si Nicole Tiamzon, ang ganda rin ng naging bunot sa kanya, 3 points in that set number 2. So we see how closer the Galeries Tower Highrisers managed to play against Petro Gazz. The blockings, wala pa rin silang naitala dyan, pati sa aces. But Petro Gazz remaining consistent on all the scoring departments. Although they committed more errors, 4 more compared to the 2 that they had in set number 1. But still, just a lot of firepower that can't be matched by Galeries Tower Highrisers.
Yeah, for the Highrisers, they were able to increase their attacks by 10 compared to set number 1. From 5 na angat nila to 15. But the Angels staying consistent, 17 on both. 13 for set 1 and then 17 in set 2. But just so many weapons na banggit mo, Mela. Yung mga scorers ng Angels and also Jonas Sabete did not even have to see a lot of playing time in set 2 for them to get that one. Pero ngayon, she will start. The third set, panigurado for Coach Koji, as we welcome you all to set number 3 here inside the Santa Rosa Sports Complex. You're catching us over on One Sports Plus and on Pilipinas Live. Dip Dipianco with Mela Tunay covering this match. Kyla Kingsu is our courtside reporter. Let's see if Petro Gazz can get this in straight sets and extend their winning streak to 4 and put themselves at a good spot for the semifinals.
First point going to Petro Gazz, as we see the same starters that they had in the first set. And you know, isa rin sa nawawala dito sa game ng Galeries, as we see that Pontillas regalo is yung kanilang mga service aces. Because in that game against Farm Fresh, isa yan sa nagpalamang sa kanila. They had 5 compared to none of the Farm Fresh Foxies. But I guess against a team like Petro Gazz, na nandyan yung mga best receivers like Barbon, who's number 2 in reception, Vansicle number 3, and itong si Morente playing libero today. Ang ganda na nagiging defense nila, and that is why they translated more. They get to convert on attacks.
So they are on a roll to start set number 3. Talking about the Petro Gazz Angels.
Yung 2 puntos na yun, kanina regalo kay Pontillas and then regalo kay Buitre. Dahil yun sa heavy serve nitong ni Brooke Vansicle. But finally, she's gonna get a point of her own. And this early 4-point lead will force Coach Lerma to call for an early timeout.
Yun yung sinasabi na bawat travel ng bola, lagi dapat ang mata nyo nasa bola. Hindi nyo tatanggalin yung mata nyo sa bola. Uy, itaas lang natin sa gitna. Kahit hindi perfect pass, itaas nyo lang sa gitna. Ayan, nawala na naman yung pagiging agresibo nyo, tahimik na naman tayo. Lagyan nyo ng energy! Lagyan nyo ng energy!
Timeout called by Coach Lerma as her team cannot afford to get left behind. Parang nung set number 1 wherein the Angels just blasted on a huge run and went on to take it 25-7. They've been having trouble with the first ball. Credit that to the service of Brooke Vansicle. Sabete. It's gonna sail out, but a lucky break because someone touched the net.
Very rare attacking error we see from Jonas Sabete. You know, in her earlier years, medyo madalas siya magkaroon ng ganyan.
Yeah.
But when she found consistency, halos bihira mo na siya makitaan ng mga attack errors. And that time, getting lucky dahil despite her being underneath that ball and hitting it out, may nag-catch ng net.
I remember nung sa bubble pa yun ng Ilocos, where she really got a lot of playing time as Sabete this time makes sure that it's inside.
She's playing her best volleyball here in PVL under Coach Koji. I mean, she's been with Petro Gazz with so many conferences and seasons already, but this has got to be one of her most consistent so far.
Right. 6-0. Buitre gets a check. Nilipat kay Jimenez. Cheng. Able to put it up. Sabete on the tough angle. Buhay pa rin. Isa breaks the block.
Isa Jimenez giving Petro Gazz a taste of their own medicine. Kanina pa sila pinapatsakan ng mga attackers. Myla Pablo doing those kinds of hits. Earlier it was Jonas Sabete. And Isa Jimenez replicating those efforts.
First point for the Highrisers here in set 3. Buitre, that works.
I think we can share the term effortless from Cheng to Buitre. Dahil that last hit seemed like it was, she made it seem it was very easy to score of a point.
Nagkakahawaan no, ng Petro Gazz Angels. Mabilangan will set up the play. That is inside. A block point again for the Angels. And they bring us to the first technical timeout, 8-1.
Bit and mellow. Now the Gallery squad was certainly able to shake off some of their jitters in that previous set, but unfortunately it still wasn't enough to stock up their points against a veteran team like Petro Gazz. Now we have been featuring Janelle Cheng, and rightfully so, because she has continued time and time again to highlight the attacking of her team, really allowing each and every one of her girls to dominate the game so far. And Brooke Van Sickle had a lot of positive things to say about their veteran setter earlier. In Brooke's words, I think having a setter with high IQ really gives us an edge. She keeps our opponents on their toes and she makes us look really good. There's nothing much to ask for when we have that, and that's certainly what we're seeing from the Petro Gazz side as we hope to see them close out this set out. Now this report is brought to you by the Pilipinas Live app, where you can watch exciting PVL action anytime and anywhere in the world. Now back to you, Dip and Mello.
Thank you, Kyla, for that report. Petro Gazz will score courtesy of Jonah Sabete with that sportsmanship. But we heard the report from Kyla. It's nice to know that this team is gelling. Brooke Van Sickle is playing her first conference with Petro Gazz, but already establishing that chemistry with their setter.
And to echo that chemistry, makikita natin yung attack points itong Petro Gazz. We flashed on your screens earlier, but also it reflects from the kind of confidence that the attackers are having. I mean, kahit sino bigyan mo ng bola, whether it's Buitre, Palma, or any of the attackers, talagang nakapag-convert eh. So that's how comfortable they are with the setters.
Oh, that's a strong hit coming from Grace Bombita.
Well, Remy Palma was just behind Ivy Perez on that block. Let's take a look at that again. Sobrang layo niya doon kay Ivy Perez. So, clearly, itong si Bombita capitalized on that gap.
10-3 is the score. Palma has been quiet as of late after that strong start in the first set. Getting those checks. Barbon picks it up. Perez goes back row to Van Sickle. Jimenez able to keep it alive. Oh, but Bombita unable to get that through.
Well, this is where you look for the discipline, no? Dahil medyo it was an awkward set already. Wala ka sa posisyon, pero ang daming ways para to keep the ball playable. But he opted to go for the uncomfortable spike. You see the numbers of Jonas Abete, 7 points. Make that 8 after that service ace. Getting some help from the time of the net. But again, we see the lead. Very familiar of that first set. 12-3 right now.
Natawa na lang din siya doon as she gets lucky. Mabilangan was unaware of where the ball was. And back-to-back aces coming from Jonas Abete.
Just look at the capability of Jonas Abete to produce points, whether she's in the front row or back row. Ang ganda ng nagiging performance niya. Again, exuding the confidence that we've been mentioning.
9 points after those back-to-back service aces. Pinasok ulit si Carly Hernandez. Ipak on the runner. Perez. And another point coming from Jonas Abete. 3 straight for Jonah and for the Petro Gazz Angels. This spike of the set is brought to you by Dunkin, pasalubong ng bayan.
She's not even less of a threat when she's at the back line. And really complimenting yung kanilang top scorer in Brooke Van Sickle. Kasi, di ba, hindi ka lang sa isang go-to player talaga magre-rely. But, ang dami ninyo and one of the top scorers as well for the team, Jonas Abete, like we did mention, number 5 in scoring, number 2 in attacking. And look at the efficiency. Parang lahat ng i-attempt niya, nagiging puntos para sa Petro Gazz.
And Ivy Perez is riding the hot hand, distributing it to Jonas Abete. Nabitin lang on that one. But Galeries Tower looking for every point possible. They only have 4 here in set 3. Sayang because in set 2 they already increased their level of play. Van Sickle. Down it goes for Brooke, who sent us to the second technical timeout as we take a look at that one. Powerful hit coming from her. And we take a short break. Petro Gazz up by 12. This matchup between Petro Gazz and Galeries Tower. Brooke Van Sickle, another day at the office, scoring double digits. Carly Hernandez hoping that her squad will make a late comeback here in set number 3 as Arce will serve. Mabilangan, upset to Carly. That draws a net violation for Petro Gazz. So point coming from the Highrisers. Five serving 16. Perez to Buitre, finding the hole in the court of Galeries.
Again, effortless. So you see that move brought to you by Honda Motorcycle. Tansyado yan. You know, all her tip shots, dyan yung tina-target niya. And I guess, sabi nga natin in the league na improved na talaga ang scouting. May baon talaga itong si Marian Buitre ng mga targets whenever she comes off with those tip shots.
12-point lead established by the Angels. Perez serving. Mabilangan goes back to Hernandez. Checked. Second try on the off speed. Perez able to keep it up. Brooke on the push. That's outside for Van Sickle. Not the cleanest of executions for Petro Gazz on that one.
Great intention, but just a bit of a hiccup on the execution part. Still a very comfortable lead, just 8 points away from sealing this game and getting another 3 points in the standings. But Marzan is not going to give them an easy win. She's been silent since the first set after back-to-back points. Medyo naging inconsistent hanggang sa pinalitan, but just look at that, one-on-one with Marian Buitre. She gets the better of her.
She scored the very first point of this match. And then that solid block announcing her re-entry. Meanwhile, Pablo scores another one for the Angels.
You know, if we gather the highlights of Myla Pablo in this game, she's been getting her points the same way. Using the hands of the blockers, same lang din yung direksyon ng talsik ng bola. So, I guess for her, why change something that's not broken?
Yeah.
She's been getting her points that way.
That's how she ended set 1, diba? Siya yung nakakuha ng last point for Petro Gazz. Brooke Van Sickle will serve. Good first ball by Hernandez. They go to Jimenez. And it drops.
Isa Jimenez, if I'm not mistaken, that's her original position during her collegiate days. So maybe a bit more comfortable dyan sa opposite side, but nonetheless, they're gonna need any point they can take from her and anyone in the team right now.
Perez goes to Tiamzon. Breaking the block of Galeries Tower.
The thing about Nicole Tiamzon, kapag gusto niyang pababa na yung blockers niya, magpapadelay siya, may hang time din to. Pero pag nakita niya na may konting gap dyan, bibilisan din niya yung palo. That's always been how she's known to play.
Way out coming from Marian Buitre. Gives up a free point, but still a comfortable cushion for the Angels. Perez will set up the play. Pablo goes to that other side. A clean hit coming from Myla Pablo.
Now, we've known Myla Pablo as one of the more powerful open hitters here in the league, but right now, she's embracing this role as an opposite. Nakita natin yung mga off-the-block hits niya. This time, a cleaner one and going for that very sharp cross.
Perez was there. Morente sets up the play. Tiamzon popped up by Hernandez. Bombita on the approach. Good dig by Morente. It's kept alive by Pablo, but Arce overcooks that one.
just a lack of ball control from Ethan Arce. Medyo nataranta pa doon. So these are some of the things we expect the younger players of Petro Gazz to develop. Kanina nakita din natin si itong si Espina. Medyo mabilis pang mataranta, but of course with the right guidance, lalo ng daming veterans sa teams nila in the coming conferences for sure. Just like Grace Bombita, who gradually picked up her game on her second conference with the Galeries Tower. We can expect great things out from these players.
And no less than heavy hits coming from Grace Bombita. Lead is down to 9. Perez. Upset to Tiamzon. Bombita gets a touch. Good hands coming from Mabilangan. The off-speed. Read by Tiamzon. Here comes Brooke. From the back.
It's just a shuffle between her and Sabete in terms of efficiency. Whatever they touch turns to a point for Petro Gazz. Look at that. Just very creative and showing us a lot of variations as we see another timeout from Coach Lerma.
Pabitin ka po nila kasi nakapasok yung opening. O kayo punta ng ulo. Wala. Hindi na ako ba-block sa backline. Parang yun ang magandang decision. Isa-isa lang tayo guys. Kaya natin yan. Pero yung short ball.
Pakita nyo lang na pag ito yung bola, short ball, ano gagawin? Kasi yung nangyayari, short ball ang bola, nagkakagulo kayo.
Wala.
Okay? Lahat naman yan dinanan natin sa training.
Ako kuha sa short ball siya.
Iangat nyo lang ng daan.
Ako Highriser!
Arena Plus Astigsa Sports, a 10-point lead for the Petro Gazz Angels. And they are 4 points away from taking this match in straight sets. Just like how they did that victory over the Signal HD Spikers. Pacres will re-enter.
She was an impact player along with Fen Emnas in that second set. So let's see if they could rally the team with this 10-point disparity.
Ipak will score.
Ganda ng set na yun ni Fen Emnas. Well calculated, just the right height for Noriel Ipak. Let's take a look at that again. And the pass was even not on the setter's box, but she managed to adjust.
12 serving 21. Barbon with a good first ball. Perez goes to Arce, who finds the opening.
Gitna sa gitna. This time, Ivy Perez pababawiin itong si Ethan Arce. And Arce just finding the right spot. Towering above the blockers. But clearly, she is taller than itong si Carly Hernandez. But also, dahil ang ganda ng contact niya dun sa bola.
Katindig gets that one. Pacres on the off-speed, and it drops. A point for Dimdim.
They're gonna need around 10 more of those to stay alive in this game. But look at Dimdim Pacres, was always ready and maximizing that there's no presence of the libero inside the court.
Barbon sets up Van Sickle.
Van Sickle apologizing. You know what? She and Sabete have been showing sportsmanship, but also because ang dami na nilang natatamaan. Ang lalakas ng mga binibitawan nilang palo dito, and not easy angles at all. That deep cross is very hard.
Siguro kung may category rin na most sorries, most apologies, si Brooke yun. 4 excellent sets for Perez.
Ooh.
Add to that as Pablo will score.
Well, it's been a long time since we've seen this powerful clean hits from Myla Pablo. I'm sure a lot of fans have been missing this. Targeting the cross court. So basically, we've seen it all from her today. Off the block, clean cross court, and that powerful hit through the block.
Petro Gazz now at match point. Pacres able to save it.
Just added under her highlights. Nimdim Pacres scoring another one. Very high efficiency in this game today. But they're down by such a big amount of points. She's off to serve to the delight of the fans here in Laguna.
Always a fan favorite itong si Demi Pacres. Picked up there by Katindig. Hernandez inside. And the rally continues.
Back-to-back points. And sabi nga ni Coach Lerma, hindi naman, she's not asking for too much, no, na parang, ay, sure win natin to or what. But just to perform well against a very strong team, to move well, huwag yung nagtitinginan, talagang pagtrabahuhan kada rally.
Pacres will serve again. Perez goes to Pablo. Kept alive. Hernandez goes up. And she scores another one back-to-back.
The pride of Laguna just showing up big time in this final stretch of the match, keeping the Galeries High Towers alive here in this third set.
And you love to see the fight for the Highrisers despite being down by this much. Kahit na nasa match point na itong Petro Gazz. Perez. Miscue and another point for the Highrisers. And I believe that's 4 straight points now for Galeries Tower.
4-0 run. And look at the fans just really cheering for the underdogs today. But Coach Koji maninigurado, tatawag ng timeout. They just need 1 point to seal this. Let's see if they get respond.
Timeout called by Coach Koji. They're having a struggle to finish this match off. But the fans are not complaining. As Pacres heads back to the service line. Good size of a crowd inside the venue.
Dimdim Pacres has also been serving well. That timeout might be for her. And it works! Breaking the momentum of the heavy and steady serves that Dimdim Pacres had been showing in that previous streak of points.
And a great fight for the Highrisers, but the Petro Gazz Angels will earn their 8th win of the conference, improving the record, and that will propel them to the top of the team standings with 25 points. Kasama dyan yung points because we know that tabla sila with Chocamucho and Creamline in terms of win-loss record.
So after this game, Petro Gazz emerged as #1, especially because they won today in straight sets. So 25 points for them. Right behind them are the Chocamucho Flying Titans and the Creamline Coast Smashers with 24 points apiece. But right now we see the confirmation of this Petro Gazz 3 straight set win, 25-7, 25-21, and 25-17. Medyo inconsistent yung Galeries Tower Highrisers, and definitely that set #2 has got to be the best that they played against the veteran team. In that set, nakita mo, ginawan talaga nila ng paraan makasabay sa puntusan. Even yung mga attacks nila, lapit lang sa stats. But clearly, a lot of developments needed on this for this new team, the Galeries Tower Highrisers.
Oh, we love to see the fight coming from Galeries Tower, but right now it's the Angels' moment, and our best player of the game, Jonas Sabete, is with our very own Kyla Kingsu. Go ahead, Kyla.
That's right. That here with me is our best player of the game, who is none other than Jonas Sabete of the Petro Gazz Angels. A big congratulations on yet another win of the conference. Unang-una, we all know that Petro Gazz is in a very tight race to make the semifinals. So what can you say about your preparations that have paid off in securing another win?
Actually, pinaghandaan namin bawat games talaga. Then, siguro yung atake, namin, and also the blockings namin, yun yung inayos namin. Kasi the previous game parang medyo shaky, so yun.
Na John, pag-usapan natin yung fight na pinakita ng Galleries today. They had a shaky start, but they really had better showing in sets 2 and 3. So ano yung ginawa niyo to really pull away and win in straight sets?
Siyempre, sure muna na like, kasi we want like our teammates din na makapasok din sa game na to. So yun, nag-ahead muna kami, tsaka namin pina-pull out yung second six namin.
Yes, John, Ano, we saw everyone from your team, from starters to those off the bench, really contributing sa win na to. So ano masasabi mo on the teamwork and chemistry ng teammates yung ngayon?
We're good. Like, syempre, ano kami, balance. May mga ates, mga bata. So, yung mga bata na lang kailangan namin i-connect doon sa mga veterana.
Yes, John, Ano, you have a lot of fans over here. Is there anyone you want to greet? Go ahead.
Hello sa Barangay Villavicencio, 12K Stakes, and my family sa Negros, sa Escalante City, sa Bulacan. Thank you po sa lahat ng supporters namin sa Bulacan State.
There you have it. That was Jonas Sabete, our best player of the game. Congratulations once again to you and to the Petro Gazz Angels. Now back to you, Dip and Mela.
Thank you, Kyla. Minsan talaga mas nakakaba pa yung,
Yung
interview
pagbate.
sa paglaro eh. But player of the game, Jonas Sabete, delivering those numbers as we take a look at the match highlights. You want to give a recap of the stats for us, Mela, in this game?
Well, actually, throughout the game, it was very evident na itong Petro Gazz had very dominant showing in all those sets. But we did mention how itong Galleries really put the effort makabawi in the second set. But just a lot of firepower from Petro Gazz, 17 points from Vansicle, and ang dami rin nag-complement sa scoring niya. Palma with 8 and Sabete with 11. Pablo coming off the bench with 6 points, Buitre with 7. Sa kabila naman, Ronquillo from her 20-point output, she was just limited to 6 points today. And we also saw some highlights from Bombita, Jimenez, but just not enough to really counter yung mga double-digit efforts ng mga players ng Petro Gazz. But towards the latter part of that third set, itong Galleries trying to make a run. Of course, Carly Hernandez slowly picking up to be the magic bunot of Coach Lerma. But still, malaki masyado yung naging lamang nitong Petro Gazz. We see the disparity in attack